Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Alexis, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you a few things that I find that are fun to do in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. So I've been to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico multiple times, and each time I go to the same ports, I like to try something new unless I absolutely love what I did the first time. And the first time I went to Puerto Vallarta was actually on a Panama Canal cruise. So it was a longer cruise. I think it was 15 days. And so with the longer cruises, you do have a lot of time to meet people and make friends throughout the ship. And by the time we got to Puerto Vallarta, we had made friends with another couple from the ship, and they had been to Puerto Vallarta multiple times. That's where they go to vacation. And so whenever we docked there, they invited us to go with them and spend the day with them to see what they do. And that's exactly what we did. So once you dock in Puerto Vallarta, there's like a little shopping mall that's right off the dock. And I was actually really impressed with it. There's also little vendors for shopping. But other than that, there's not that much for you to go and walk to or see and do right there. You have to get a taxi or a car to drive to the main town and beach. And it's not that far and it's not that expensive. So what we did is we got a van for the four of us and we drove to the town and the beach. And we just walked around and it was so nice. There's so many restaurants and bars and shopping, and it was really nice. We were walking on the beach and we saw a table with multiple people grabbing things out of the ocean and putting them on the table. So that obviously intrigued us. It turns out they were getting oysters right out of the ocean, washing them with water and selling them for people to eat. And of course, we had to try it. It was a little risky, I would say, but no one got sick and the oysters were absolutely amazing. The sauces that they had in the salsa was so good. I wish that I could go back and do the same thing over and over and over again. So we had really good oysters on the beach. And then when we were there, they were having like a fishing tournament. So we got to see a lot of cool, really big fish. Right there on the beach and like in the main little town area, there's a nice church. It's very touristy, it's still really nice. And then we went to a very local restaurant and met up with some of their local friends. The restaurant was called Si Senor, and it was a very high-end Mexican restaurant. They had really good lobster. And it was kind of a fun experience. The waiter even let me get dressed up and make the guacamole for our table, and it was a really fun experience. So if you want to enjoy on the beach, shopping, restaurants, and maybe even some oysters, that is something that you could do in Puerto Vallarta that's very accessible and not very expensive. The next time that I went to Puerto Vallarta was a little different. We did have kids with us. So we wanted to keep in mind, do something a little more fun and exciting. Our kids are very adventurous and so are we. So we wanted to do something completely different coming back to Puerto Vallarta. So my husband did some researching before our cruise and he found that Puerto Vallarta is actually very foresty. So they have like two big main zipline companies that you can go to and do an excursion with. We picked the more expensive one and the one that's more adult-ish. I will say it was way more adult than I was expecting. And it was really fun. I think we paid $110 per person. And what that included was you met up with your tour and your tour guide. And then at a little shopping center, the one that I had previously stated is right there at the port. And then they put you on a speedboat, which was so much fun. The kids loved it. And it was really nice because it was a 30-minute long speedboat. So mind you, if you don't want to spend that much time on a little boat, keep that in mind. They take you all along the coast of Puerto Vallarta, and I just thought it was so beautiful. I had no idea that it was so green and luscious and foresty there, because the previous time we just stayed right there on the beach. And so this time we were doing the speedboat along the coast. It was so nice to see a part of Puerto Vallarta that I didn't even know was really there and that it was like that. Very green, very lush. And then we ended up docking in this really local village, which was a really good experience for not only us, but for the kiddos, because they got to see what real poverty was like. This local village and town was very impoverished. Like it was kind of an eye-opener for the kids, which I think is such a great learning experience for them. So we walked through the village where we got on like this safari truck, and it was very unique. The drive to the excursion was very unique because I think I would kind of like explain it as like a Disneyland safari ride. It's kind of wild, but it was really cool. We drove through, the town, and we got to see all of the houses and how they live there, and it was a really cool experience. Once we got to the excursion, the ziplining place, there was a lot of tour guides that were there, and all of the equipment seemed super safe, and they explained very well English to us, so that was nice. And it was like the zip line was so big, and by big I mean there was like 17 different zip line stations that we had to go through. It was a long day, but it was so much fun, way more adult than I was expecting. And by that I mean it was super fast paced too. And I'm surprised, like the kids did so great. They loved it. I think that my husband and I were a little more scared than they were, but it was so much fun, and we got to zip line over the river. And what was really cool about this place is they had a photographer that followed you around from zip line to zip line, and they let you go upside down and do funny things, which was really cool. And so then at the end of the excursion, you had the option to purchase your videos and photos, which we did, and that was $100 extra, but it was worth it because they don't let you take your phone or cameras or GoPros on the excursion because you can't really hold it. And so if we wouldn't have bought that package, we wouldn't have any photos or videos from the zip line. So it was well worth it. And then afterwards, we got to hang out, have a few drinks and some food. And they even have like a little spot where they have animals that you can just go and touch. And they have a snake, they have monkeys, and it's at no extra cost. It's included. So that was really, really cool. It was fun for the kids to feed the monkeys and hold a big snake. And I think that place was called Los Veranos. And I think for the price, it was a fantastic excursion. And I think I would even do that again if I went back to Puerto Vallarta. They even included a tequila tasting at the end of the excursion, which was, who's gonna say no to free tequila? So that was really cool. Then once the excursion was over, they drove us back to our speedboat, and we did another 30-minute relaxing boat ride back to the dock. And I would recommend this. It was so much fun, and I know that there's still so many other cool things to do in Puerto Vallarta, but these are just things that I have done that I would recommend for you guys to do. If you guys have been to Puerto Vallarta and have done anything else that you think I should try, because I know I will probably be back there, let me know in the comments, or let me know if you've done what I have done as well. Once again, if you found this video helpful or enjoyed it at all, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so you're always updated with all things cruising and travel. Don't forget to always seize the day, and I'll catch you in the next video.